Hello everyone, Malphite here, and today we are going to be talking about the LCS. Oh wow, the Sheep Esports interview, stream, article, something of the sort dropped, and we have so many news. So let's just go through it, because it's very, very interesting, and we're starting with Flyquest. So Flyquest obviously having the strongest roster in the league. And now it completely imploded with Busio going to KC, Inspired leaving the team and going to Lyon, and Bwipo looking for a new position. What is going to happen to the team? So, Flyquest is retaining their mid laner, Quad, and their AD carry, Masu. Also, Bwipo will not be their starting top laner. Gaggos will be the Flyquest top laner in 2026. So they are keeping Gaggos, the European, the Turkish rookie from the second division of the LFL. Crazy jump. I mean, no other player made a jump like this. It was Camelu in the LEC, and we saw how that went. He was there for a split and then was the worst mid laner and then had to go back to KCB. At least he made it, at least he made it like back to the ERLs and not to the second division. Bwipo might stay on as a coach, but no decision was made regarding that. And I think this is very, very sad. Not because Bwipo would not be a good coach. I think he would actually be a really, really good coach. I think Bwipo would be such a good coach because of his game knowledge, right? We also saw that when he was coaching, for example, Velia in jungle, and he has so much game knowledge, he can play so many positions, he just understands the game on so many levels that I think he would be a great coach, but I still think he has so much to give as a player, and I was just really sad to see that he didn't join Fnatic, for example, because I think the roster would be absolutely crazy with him. But maybe he just does not want to leave NA now that he has his life there. Anyways, he might stay as a coach, but he will not be the starting top laner. They considered several options, and they even entertained the idea of a 6-man roster. So that's something that can still happen, right? Because Gaggos wasn't looking that good. So if Flyquest starts with Gaggos and the first split just goes really, really bad, and then Bwipo is like a coach on the team, maybe they'll decide like, oh, okay, you know what, whatever. Like at this point, we might as well just try and see, and they'll give Bwipo a chance. Who knows? But we have Griffin, who will be joining them in the jungle. So he played in the Loud last split. He'll be replacing Inspired, and Yukino was their first choice but declined the offer as he preferred to remain with KCB. So I don't know what Yukino is doing. I know he said in an interview that he really likes it in Europe. I know he said he likes the competitive environment there. He's more professional that way and everything. I get it. But if you're not going to end up joining an LEC team, and I know he had some interest, he had some offers, but if you're not going to end up joining an LEC team, at least go to the Flyquest. Like I don't know. Maybe the problem was that they tried to sign him for, I think, 3 years. He wanted to be signed for 2 years. Maybe that's where the problem happened, right? Because I think if he just got a 1-year deal, I think he would go. Just come back, play there for a year, show what you got. He would probably be one of the best junglers in the league. And then, someone might pick you up from the LEC. But who knows, maybe he wants to apply for some visa so that he wouldn't count as an import or something. But, still a very, very strong player, Yukino. But anyway, this is about Flyquest and this is about Griffin. So Griffin played in Loud. He's known as sort of the LS's protege. LS is probably staying in Fly as well, so he might have a lot of impact on the team now. Also through Griffin, also through Bwipo. We know he talks with Bwipo, we know he talks with Inspired and everything. So that might be quite interesting, something interesting to see. And then Masu is staying, right? So we have Gaggos, Griffin, Masu, Gaggos, Griffin, Quad, Masu, and then Flyquest is taking its time to select a new support. There's a strong chance they'll pick a rookie. They are currently holding in-person tryouts with 3 young players who have never appeared in the LCS. The team wants to give a new face, a change, and a build for the future. give a new phase a chance, and build for the future. And I think this is totally reasonable, because once you realize that you probably cannot build a roster that will win the league, especially with the rosters that we'll see from Lyon, that we'll see from C9, TL, Shopify Rebellion, right? Like, you just have to take the L, you just have to take the loss and say, okay, we're not winning it next year. We can try, but we're not winning it next year. But we can invest now in the rookies, and we can build for the future. And I think that's really good, because you have Gagos, you have Griffin, and if you get like a really good rookie in the support, like we saw Busio a couple years ago, right? He just came as a new rookie support, and he was doing so well, right? And I think the support situation in NA is so bad that so many of these teams are going to be depending on the really good supports, that I just think that rookies are the way, right? Because you need to find that one talent. Like, if every team, or like if half of the teams just sign a completely unknown player, like a new rookie, and it ends up with at least one of them being like really good, or just reasonably good, then it's worth it, I think. Because discovering that one talent that will then grow into like a strong player, someone like Busio, right? I think is just worth the exploration. But okay, Flyquest building and fielding a team of rookies, very young players. I think I think Gagos is like gonna be 18 when he starts playing for the team. I think Griffin is, I don't even know, man. He's probably still like 19 or something. And then if they get like a rookie, like young player in the support, it's all going to be very, very young players. And then Masu and Quad are going to be the veterans, right? The leaders on the team, despite being, let's say, the rookies of the previous roster with Inspired, Bwipo, and Busio on the team. But already I'm quite yapping quite a lot about Flyquest, so let's move on to Lyon. And so Lyon is very, very hype. With a large budget, Lyon is building a very strong roster this year. Their roster is now finalized, as they are retaining Saint, and won the bidding war for Inspired against Team Liquid. Inspired will be the highest paid player in the LCS. Depending on bonuses activated throughout the year, he could even become the highest paid player in the West, surpassing Rasmus Caps Winter. So think about it. Caps is the highest paid player in the West right now. And that's totally deserved, right? I mean, he's just crazy. He's the biggest star player. He's the biggest star player of the West. He's the most accomplished player of the West. There's some argument to be made for Jankos up until a certain point, right? But I mean, he wasn't playing like for a while, and then he also wasn't competitive for a while. So just look at Caps and how well he's doing since he came into the league. He is the absolute star of the LEC, and now Inspired to be better paid and the highest paid player in the West. That's pretty crazy, right? But also Inspired, probably the best player in the LCS, so it makes sense, right? He might be the best jungler in the West. He probably is the best jungler in the West. So I guess it totally makes sense. At the ADC position, Berserker will return to the NA, and he'll be the team's carry. The Prodigy is returning to the LCS after a year in the LCK with DN Freaks. Teddy was also an option, so I don't understand why these teams still want Teddy. I think Teddy is washed even for the LCK, but I hope he proves me wrong. As well as Aiming, who came later in the offseason, so Aiming just wants to get a team so bad because like the PR nightmare, right? So I wonder who's going to be picking up Aiming. It might be interesting. But Berserker will need a visa, which has not arrived yet, so that could be the only last hurdle. But I'm quite hyped actually, because the AD carry situation in NA, in the LCS, is not great. It's just not great. So I think Berserker, even though he looked lackluster in the LCK, the whole roster was just not good, to be fair. I think he'll destroy some people in the LCS. And I think just the core of, Inspired and Berserker, I think they'll just really, really do well together. So I think Lyon can win the whole league. Sources tell Lyon Sociostel, Lyon have also locked in Zamudo in the top lane. And I think that makes total sense. He was playing for the team before. There has not been that many better options. There's like Dokla, right? There is there's like Sniper, SRTTY. Could be playing with Bwipo again, but I'm not sure if they wanted to play together after the last season with Inspired, right? So I think Zamudo is pretty solid. He's like the next NA talent, the next LCS talent. So I don't mind it at all. Impact was rumored to join, but it will not be the confirmed player. In the end, the Canadian talent will finally get to play in the LCS after facing visa issues last year with Lyon. The support position will be filled by Isles, and this is the only problem that I have, to be honest. This is the only problem that I have because Isles just did not look good as a support for the past years, and now he's back, and I just don't know how to feel about it, right? Returning from 2 years with Dignitas, I mean, he didn't look good on Dignitas, he didn't look good on C9, I mean, he didn't look good anywhere he played. So I'm a bit worried about Isles. I would much rather they do something that Flyquest is doing and just get a rookie support, because, damn, like, I don't know, like even someone like Winsome or Zazel, I would be happier with than Isles, but who knows? I hope they prove me wrong, and will actually be better. But that's enough yapping about Lyon, and let's look at the Team Liquid. So Team Liquid made a lot of noises off-season after securing Quid. So they won the bidding war for Quid, for the mid laner, and they're keeping Yon and Core JJ. So they're keeping their bot lane and their star player, who is obviously Core JJ. According to sources, it's Josedeodo who will be expected to join Team Liquid, and that's really crazy because, I mean, obviously they wanted Inspired, but now with Inspired gone, they had to make a choice. And although this is not 100% locked yet, he would be making his return to the LCS after playing with Flyquest in 2022. So, to be fair, I don't even know how Josedeodo is doing now. But, interesting move. Like something, like, definitely did not expect this, first of all. I did not expect this at all. Seems even crazy to me. I feel like UG was pretty solid, but they will have 2 imports. So I guess they're getting Jose because he doesn't count an import. I think UG counted as an import. I'm not quite sure. But they also had numerous tryouts in the top lane, but ultimately TL has almost locked in Morgan. So Morgan will be coming from OK Bro, from the Brionne in the LCK. Their star player of the Brionne will be coming to TL, and he will immediately become one of the best top laners because he was also one of the best top laners in the LCK. Now, some people like to make memes about Morgan, right, that he's not good and everything. But if you look at like the top players, if you look at like Keen, you look at Zeus, and then you have players like Doran, right? And then you can make an argument for like Siwu from DK. But after that, I think Morgan was the best top laner in the LCK, and now he'll be joining Team Liquid. They also tried out Castle, and they also tried out Clear. And in the end, they decided to go with Morgan. And I think this is very, very hype, right? Because they got a really good strong mid laner, they got a really good bot lane, and then I'm just not sure about the jungle, right? The jungle is very funny to me, but Morgan is a strong signing. So TL is definitely going to be up there as one of the favorites to win the title and go to Worlds. So far it's looking good for Lyon and Team Liquid. But let's not forget, and let's look at Cloud9. So Cloud9 has also a very interesting offseason, because the club has made a few changes. Loki left the roster for personal reasons, and APA was chosen to replace him. So APA was allowed to explore options in the LEC, but never received any offers. Zinie talked to many players, but APA was a natural pick due to his experience and status. So also Cloud9 fumbled Zinie. They could have probably gotten Zinie, but okay. We'll talk about it later. So many players are very disappointed by this change. People are saying, Cloud9, 07, L, we're going to lose and everything. But personally, I don't think it's as bad. Because there was nothing wrong with Cloud9 roster last year. So if they just retained the roster, right, I don't think anyone would be disappointed because there was nothing wrong with the roster. They just had a bad season, or they didn't make it. They broke down, they lost, they fumbled, but there was nothing inherently wrong with the roster. And so APA is a downgrade compared to Loki. He didn't look too hot on TL. He's obviously not a strong Korean import. He's, APA and a mid laner, right? But remember, he wasn't that bad on TL before. He wasn't that bad. Then he had a lackluster season. Right now, obviously, it's obvious that he's a downgrade. We're not going to say he isn't a downgrade, but I'm just saying that the Cloud9 roster, even with APA in the mid lane, still has a potential. I mean, they have Vulcan, they have a really good support. Not many teams have a really good support. They still have one of the strongest top laners in the league. They still have one of the strongest junglers in the league, right? So I wouldn't be so worried. And I think with I Will Dominate also being part of a coaching staff, I think people are also memeing this, and I think they're also downplaying how much game knowledge Dom has. He's been keeping up with League for so long, and I think many times it's these coaches who don't realize certain things, and these, let's say, washed streamers / old players still have some sort of a knowledge that's really interesting to think about, and just being another voice that brings some info and some reason to the team, I think that can be quite valuable. So I still think Cloud9 is going to be a top 4 team. The question is whether they can make it to top 2, right? Whether they can make it to Worlds, whether they can win some titles. Because for me, they are top 4. I just don't know where in the top 4 they're going to appear. Next up, we're going to be talking about Dignitas. So there's not been much news about the team so far. Dignitas usually has a poor reputation during the offseason due to limited communication, but since the arrival of the new general manager, who previously worked with CLG and was the manager for NRG in 2023, getting a good roster could become easier. However, the team has a low budget and no player has been locked yet. Now, this is... I don't even know if I should talk about this, but this is just Dignitas. I mean, the team has been really bad for so long. They always have some sort of a drama. They don't have any pull on the players. So I just don't think they're going to build a competitive roster. I don't think they're even going to build a better roster than Disguised will. And Disguised is cooked, right? Because they don't have an official spot. They have the promotional spot. But we're going to be talking about it in a second. So Disguised. They find themselves in a complicated position as a guest team, meaning that they can be relegated at the end of the year during the promotion tournament. Exactly. That's why no one wants to play for them, and we'll see about it in a second. But this uncertain status naturally drives players away, as they prefer the security of a partnered organization. Fortunately, one player has already been locked in, and it's their star player, Castle, in the top lane. And Castle is actually very, very good, and I'm really glad they managed to retain him. The problem is, their another star player, Rahel, also with Huhi in a support position, are leaving. So, but we're going to be talking about it in a second. So, who previously tried out for Team Liquid, he had resigned with DSG. It's good news for the team, though likely the only one, as he seems to be the only player expected to remain on the roster. So we have Exio gone, Darkwing's gone, and we have Rahel and Huhi gone. DSG has also explored several potential bot lane options from Europe, including players like Kaiser, Piero, and various European AD carries who performed at EMEA Masters. Additionally, they considered signing both solo laners from MSCI Esports, Michiel and Colmy. Yeah, I think those moves would be good actually. I think Kaiser is still a very, very strong support. I think Piero would be worth it as an import, because I think, and this is actually very smart what they're doing, right? Because I think getting a good support can be really, really beneficial, because the supports are just not good. You might say, yeah, support matters the least. It's the position that matters the least, and I would agree. But also, when the level of the position overall is just so bad, having a good support, it might be the game changer, right? Especially in like the bot lane scenario, where you might have some better AD carries, for example, but the bot lane, the supports will kind of suck. So getting someone like Kaiser in the league, getting someone like Piero in the league, especially now with Busio gone, might just be really, really good for you. But that being said, they're losing all their roster, and the roster actually was pretty good towards the end. They managed to build a solid roster, right? They managed to stay in the league. And so now they have to think about something. Like, now they have to cook up a roster. And I think what they need to do is they need to bring Toasty. They need to bring Toasty. Toasty from the academy, because he's very, very young and he's very, very good, the next big talent, right? And I think nothing would be cooler than making Toasty your franchise player, the French Toasty on your team, because you're this guy's toast, right? You're this guy's Toasty. That would be so cool, just for the marketing, just for the memes. But also there's Palafox on the market, right? And it seems that no teams are interested so far. So those are two mid laners you can think about. And then yeah, support most likely an import, because if you don't import your support, then I don't know, I guess. And then as far as the AD carries go, that's another question, right? You'll have to figure out how to do it. Actually, figuring out what this guys could do could be pretty interesting, because I feel like I think you will manage with the mid lane, but the jungle AD carry support situation is going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough, especially with Sentinels stealing the whole DSG roster. So they have already signed Darkwings, a North American player who made his LCS debut with Disguised, and Sentinels also picked up the DSG bot lane duo Rahel and Huhi. The three players who already know each other and showed improvement towards the end of the year. The team likely benefited from its strong brand appeal and not from being a guest team. So Sentinels just said, hey, no matter what's going to happen, we're not going to get relegated, and also we have a huge Valorant team, and so many of our fans are going to watch you now because we also are going to have a league team. So don't you want all this fame, and we can probably pay you a lot better, and we can give you more more eyes on you and more marketing and everything, stronger brand, right? And the players were like, yeah, that makes sense. And I don't blame them. You always have to do what's better for you, right? You always have to climb up. Everyone wants to do better. It's just, as a fan of Disguised, it feels a bit better. But Castle, I'm rooting for you. And I'm rooting for these guys to build a good team. And now I'm going to be talking about Shopify Rebellion, because oh my days. Shopify Rebellion managed to get Zinie. So, according to sources close to Sheep Esports, Zinie will be the new mid laner for Shopify Rebellion. This is a very impressive signing, as he's a player that every region was interested in. LPL, LCK, LEC, and now LCS. And somehow, and I don't know who Zinie's agent is. But you should fire that guy right away. You had LPL teams interested in. You had Carmine Corp interested in you. Probably some other LEC teams, like high-profile LEC teams. You probably had some high-profile LCS teams interested in you. And somehow, you end up in Shopify Rebellion. He was expected to join a top team in the LCK or LPL, but that did not happen. He spoke with LCK teams, LPL teams, was considered by KC. He will not be promoted to the main roster of KT because BDD did so well, right? BDD, maybe the best mid lane. He was 1v9, he was destroying Faker. I mean, BDD stonks are insane right now. So as getting a top team in LCK was unlikely, he went to Shopify. So other than the mid lane, Shopify top side will remain, and the bot lane very likely as well. So they're not changing anything, they're just getting Zinie in the mid lane. Now immediately, they were already a good team last year. With Zinie in the mid lane, now they're also top 4. Because C9, Lyon, TL, and Shopify Rebellion will be the teams that will battle it out. Now when we know all the players, I'll make these sort of ranking videos, tier list videos, just, you know, trying to gauge and predict how well these teams are going to be playing, like how good these players are going to be and everything. But damn, like how Shopify Rebellion pulled this off, I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But, or maybe, I mean, we'll probably know, and it's probably going to be very funny and sad. Good job to Shopify, I guess, but just very sad that a better team did not end up signing Zinie. Yeah, so I've been yapping about this for quite some time, but let's just quickly look at the rosters overall. So here we have the rosters signed so far in the Shibi Sports transfers. Let's just quickly look at the Flyquest. So we have Gagas, Griffin, Quad Masu, very young roster. We do not know who the support will be yet. Quite interested in that. And we have Castle signed for this guys, and the rest of the team will be leaving, so we'll have to get someone here. Dignitas, I mean, they're just cooked. Their former roster was cooked as well. I don't know what they can do, but I mean, I'm surprised by Lyon picking up Isles, I guess. Cloud9, a little bit of a downgrade, but again, as I was saying, I'm not that down on the Cloud9 stocks. Lyon Gaming, very, very much of an upgrade. Inspired, Berserker. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Isles one, but okay. Sentinels, no players previously, but we have Darkwings, Rahel, and Huhi, so basically just stealing. I mean, they even stole Golden Glue. What the? Damn. They even stole Golden Glue from these guys, previous iterations. Shopify Rebellion, again, massive upgrade with Zinie in the mid lane, already a good roster last year. And then finally we have Team Liquid with Morgan, Josedeodo, Quid, Yon, Core JJ. So massive upgrade in the mid lane. Probably an upgrade in the jungle, but a strange one. And then probably an upgrade in the top lane as well. Although not like a crazy one, you know, but probably an upgrade. So Team Liquid is going to be very interesting. Lyon Gaming is going to be very interesting. Shopify is going to be very interesting. And then finally C9. How are they going to do? And then, so that would be my top 4. And then I would say, just from seeing this, I'm just going to say Dignitas is going to be 8th. Like, I think they're cooked. Then I think this guys is going to be 7th because like they lost all their good players. So I don't know what they can cook, but it's not going to be that great. Sentinels probably 6th. I mean, they stole this guy's roster, but you know, it's their first season, and they are just these. There's this clear top 4, and then Flyquest I think will be the 5th strongest team, and they will be the gatekeeper in front of the top 4. With the team of rookies, right? But also Flyquest could just be the worst team because they have just so many rookies, and arguably the 2 worst teams from the former roster stayed on the team. So the team might just look so much worse, and you know, you might not even be prepared for the Flyquest situation. So enough of me yapping. Let me know in comments, what do you think about all these changes? What do you think about these teams? How strong do you think they'll be next year? What are some moves you love? What are some moves you hate? Just let me know all of that in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.